Win or lose, political campaigns bring out young people who devote themselves to a cause, and they very often make relationships and gain experience that propels them into future successes. Getting more young people of color involved helps make the campaigns better and boost the careers of those staffers. One of the most notable examples of that phenomenon was Reggie Love, personal aide to Barack Obama, beginning during his run for the White House and as president. Called the body man or chief of staff, Reggie parlayed that role into an Ivy League graduate degree and a blossoming business career. I got a chance to talk to Reggie a while back and hear directly from him about this life-changing experience. So we're here at Bistro B, and the reason that we're here is because the day I met Barack Obama, when he was then State Senator Obama, our friend Michael Strautmanis arranged for us to get together to have supposed to be a 15-minute conversation about his campaign for the Senate.
Right.
It turned into he was running late. He said, hey, do you want to just grab dinner? So this place always has this sort of special.
Did he have the steak frites?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he probably had the steak frites here like twice a week.
Yeah, this was his choice. He's like, oh, let's go to Bistro B. And so we came here. We ended up sitting downstairs in the booth for about an hour, and we had a great time.
That's a really fun story.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, let's go back. We're going to talk to Reggie. Let's do it here. From Iowa to New Hampshire, the White House, and around the world, you were 4 feet from one of the most important and powerful people on the planet for a lot of years. What did it mean to your life?
I think being that close to him and being that close to the office, you know, one, I think taught me a lot about what it means to be a leader. I think Barack Obama is a guy that works tirelessly, you know, would never ask someone to do a job he's never done himself or wouldn't do himself. And no one on his team works harder than he does.
We should probably just explain what your job was. Your job when you worked for President Obama was what?
I moved to DC in 2006, and I started as a staff assistant in the Senate office. And so that consisted of, you know, constituent services, mail, tours, answering the phones. And then in 07, he decided he was going to run for president. He announced the exploratory committee, and then later in the winter, he announced in Springfield. And before the exploratory committee, Pete Rouse came to me and said, look, we think you should go on the road and handle stuff, which in traditional sense was the body guy or personal aide or special assistant or executive assistant, whatever the term is, but sort of the guy who was an extra set of hands to help with, you know, everything from making sure the guy or the candidate has 3 meals a day, gets on phone calls, is making thank you calls, knows what city he's in or what house he's in or what, you know, town hall he's showing up to, carrying the briefing book, making sure he's got an extra shirt if he spills his lunch on the, you know, in the car ride. You know, you kind of like do a little bit of everything.
And it's a bird's eye view of everything, right? You get to see the candidate's day from beginning in the morning all the way till
start to finish.
Put them in the room at night, lock the door.
Yeah, really long days.
Yeah.
But it's fun, you know, because people always ask me, they were like, you must have known Barack Obama before you had the job. And I said, no, well, you know, I kind of didn't really know him. And I said, to be totally honest, I think when I got the job as special assistant, he'd never had sort of a traveling aide with him before. Yeah. And I think for the first couple of weeks or months, I think he really did not like me. And I think it was probably a little bit more Stockholm syndrome, in which, you know, you spend so much time together, you like start to identify with your capturer and build a relationship over time. But you know, really, you're in such proximity. You know, everything from, you know, what time you get up in the morning, what time you eat your meal, if you want to stop and like use the restroom, you know, you want to call your family, you know, you kind of like see everything.
So when you're working with him, you're traveling with him, everybody all day is coming at him. People have requests, people want to talk about policy, people want to talk about newspaper interviews, everybody's coming at him for some reason or another. How did you interact with him just on a day-to-day basis that might have been a little bit different than how everybody else did?
I think the one thing that I always try to do, no matter how busy the day, I'd find like 20 to 30 minutes in the schedule that I could maybe get him very excited about, that it was not like work related. Like, oh, you know, you're gonna see one of your good college friends, or, you know, your favorite person from this basketball team is going to be at this, like something that I would just try to like say, look, the day's really long. Here are all the things we're going to try to get done today. And this is where you might get jammed up. But it's a full day, but there is this one gym. You're going to get to go to your favorite restaurant. Yeah. You may not actually get to go, but it's going to be takeout. It'll be in the car, but it's from your favorite restaurant in Chicago.
Did your mutual interest in sports help the relationship develop?
I mean, look, I literally thought there were times where I was going to get fired. And I remember the first time we had a conversation that wasn't specifically about work. He sent me an email about, we were having a back and forth over who was better, Tony Parker or Chris Paul. And I'm an ACC guy, and he was a big Tony Parker fan. So I was like, Chris Paul is way better than Tony Parker. And one day, Tony Parker has a great game, and he sends me just the stat line in an email. The Spurs had played, the Bulls or something. Tony Parker had a triple-double. And that was like the first day where we had like an email exchange that was not about the schedule. Where am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Why am I here? The Iowa State Fair, which obviously is a big event. Yeah. I think I even have on my Iowa State Fair hat. I think we'd seen the butter cow. We'd had like a deep fried Snickers. The girls were on that trip. Michelle, Emily, and Sasha. They'd ridden a couple, one of those little drop zone rides. But it was, it was like one of those days where. When you look at that picture, you're like, you know what, that was a pretty enjoyable time.
How did you go from being in the mailroom to kind of being next to Barack Obama?
I kind of embraced like the role. It wasn't like a sexy thing. It wasn't, you weren't writing legislation. You weren't on CNN. You were the guy that was part of a team, and you hoped that your add to the team, would help you win. And it helped too that I really believed in my boss's mission.
What's the most important lesson President Obama taught you?
Never miss an opportunity to appreciate your parents. And because you never know how long they'll be here. Sometimes it's a thing that we often take for granted. He'd lost his mother at an early age. And and I remember I was in an argument with my mom like during the inauguration, and and I was really upset. And the president said to me, look, I didn't see your mom or your dad during the inauguration. I said, oh, they're here. He goes, well, look, I'd love to see him. And I kind of said to him, I said, look, I'm in a fight with him right now. I just can't deal with him. And he said, well, look, I'm the leader of the free world. I would like to see your mother and your father. Can you bring them to the Oval Office? Afterwards, he comes in there to my little cubby hole, and he says, was that so hard? And I said,
you sound just like him, by the way. It's a good invitation.
And and I said no, but you really are making this even harder for me. And he goes, look, it's like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and your parents are here to enjoy it, and it's something you would really regret if you did not experience with them.
So what are you doing now?
I'm a partner at a small financial holding company called Transatlantic. So we are buying medium-sized companies in financial services, logistics, beer, and energy.
And lastly, you've had presidents and coaches who've been your mentors. Are you able to pass any of this great knowledge on to anybody else?
I always say if someone reaches out to me and they want to pick my brain on anything, they're a young person, if they email me or reach out to me, I always say, look, everyone's worth 15 minutes just to sort of give them the time, because there's so many people out there who have been kind enough to me throughout the years to give me advice and to give me their perspective, and so I feel like it's an obligation that I have to pay it forward.